start it out. Okay. Okay, you're welcome. I see more people are joining. You're welcome to tonight's session. Okay, so I think we are live on Facebook too. Yeah, that has been sorted. So let's dive into it. If you are with me, can I see your hands? Let's dive into it. So how to break into tech as a data analyst, and that is UK, Germany, Ireland, and UAE. And tonight I'll be having Abid Sadiq with me. It will be around briefly for 30-45 minutes. Abid Sadiq is one of the career coaches at Digital Consulting. He's a technical recruiter. He has worked at LinkedIn, at Microsoft, at Teradata, as Uber, as a technical recruiter. So I will be coming around tonight for this session. Okay, but let me drop the plan. So now, first thing is I will be introducing introduction, founder, Digital Consulting. So I'll be introducing myself because you need to know a lot about me because I'll be with you tonight for some time. The next thing, introduction to Digital Consulting. Even though you're maybe hearing about Digital Consulting for the very first time this week, we've been around for 5 years and we've helped thousands of Africans and non-Africans, Asians especially, Africans and Asians to transition to tech without a computer science background. So that's what we've been doing for the past 5 years, and we have a whole lot of results in that area. So I'll be introducing you to Digital Consulting. Who are we? What do we stand for? How can you know more about us? The number 3, why tech? Why are we talking about tech? Why are we talking about transitioning to tech? Why tech? Why data analysis? Why tech? Why data analysis? Why transition to data analysis? Or why transition to tech and data analysis? So why? Why tech? Why are we talking tech? Why are we talking data analysis? And why are we talking about transitioning to data analysis? Then number 4, what exactly is data analysis? What exactly is data analysis? Number 5, how to actually transition to data analysis. So some people talk of transitioning to tech, but some people actually transition to tech. Some people are always saying, oh, one day I'm going to get into tech. I'll break into tech. I'll break into tech. But they never break into tech. They never break in it. They just keep talking about it. But some people actually transition to tech. They actually transition to tech without a tech background. Without a tech background. So I'll be walking you through the blueprint. So there's a blueprint that anybody, anywhere. So if you're in the United Kingdom, if you're in Germany, if you're in Ireland, if you're in the UAE or any part of Europe, right? If you're in Europe and the UAE, any part of Europe, especially UK, Germany, Ireland, and UAE, you can follow this blueprint and get into tech and transition into tech. It's not rocket science. The number 6, next steps. Next steps by Digital. And number 7, question and answer. Question and answer. So we get into it. Now, introduction, founder, Digital Consulting. So introduction to myself. Okay. So I currently reside in Nigeria, but our business operates globally. Our business operates globally, and our tutors are based in North America, and Europe. Our tutors are in United Kingdom and North America region. But I currently reside in Nigeria, so that has to be clear. So let me show you more about myself. Okay, let's get into it. So yeah, so who am I? I'll do this briefly and get settled. So who am I? Well, just like those of you watching me tonight, I actually transitioned to tech too. I used to work at PwC, that's PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I was there from 2013 to 2018. I know some of you might think I'm a young man. Well, I'm still a young man anyway, but I look far younger than my age. So I was at PwC from 2013 to 2018 as a tax and transfer pricing consultant. Then in 2018, I transitioned, or I got a job with the largest indigenously owned Nigerian oil exploration and production company. And I was there from December 2018 to February 2020. I was there for like 13 months. Then I dropped my resignation letter. And why did I do that? Because I discovered the opportunities in tech. So I used to pastor Lighthouse Church, Lagos, from June 2018 to October 2021, but I'm currently the senior pastor of Household of Kings Church, which is at Bega, Lagos. So this is me right here. I'm married. This is my lovely wife. I love fun. That's me having fun. This was at the start of the church. This was the first service many years ago, right? So that's a little about myself, and I've been in tech ever since 2019. In 2019, tech for me was a side also. I was still working as a tax accountant at the oil and gas company, but by 2020, I dropped my letter, and it's been a wonderful story since 2020, because between 2020 and today, we have helped thousands actually. And a lot of people find that hard to believe, but we've helped thousands of Africans and Asians. Of course, we have some native Europeans, but our students are mainly Africans, Pakistanis, and Indians. Yeah, so we have Rwandans, we have Kenyans, we have Ghanaians, we have Nigerians, we have Ugandans and Indians, and Pakistanis, and some Chinese too. So Africans and Asians to transition to tech. So if you are in that category, then you are in the best place. And some of our teachers and our tutors and our career coaches are people of Asian descent, and some of them are native Europeans, but that's not a problem at all. So just to know more about me too, yep, okay. Let me share a few pictures. Like I said, our tutors are based in Europe and in North America, but because of church, mainly I still currently reside in Nigeria, but from Nigeria, I oversee the global operations. So that has to be. So this is me right here, doing my thing, right, doing my stuff. I love to travel. So for people in Dubai, I've been to Dubai a couple of times, and I'll be back again. Now the visa, the visa ban has been lifted. The visa ban has been lifted, and so I'm also a real estate developer, and I do things with people in the real estate industry. So here I was teaching real estate developers in Nigeria how to use tech to grow their business, the opportunities in tech to grow their business, right? Oh, someone say you can't see what I'm sharing. Oh, you can't see what I'm sharing. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, so sorry. Okay, can you all see what I'm sharing right now? If you can see what I'm sharing, can I see your hands? So okay, yeah, people can see what I'm sharing. So this is me and my lovely wife. This was at the start of the church. This was a program. So this is where I am, right? I was talking about Dubai, and it's good to be back. So this was at a real estate seminar, doing our thing. So before I used to do all these physical meetings, and I do seminars and I teach people tech, but now I do webinars now. So I don't leave my house. I do webinars, and our trainings are 100% remote. Our trainings are 100% remote. So that's about that for me. Yeah. So for me, that's about that. Next thing is, you can check me out on Instagram. You can check me out on Instagram if you want more information about me. You want to know me more. Then from there, we talk about digital. So, yeah, okay. Okay, so this is me. So, you want to check me out? I'm on Instagram. So you can find me on Instagram and get to know more about me. So the handle is Omiyale Yomi. That's the one that is verified. Omiyale Yomi, that's the verified one. And you get to know more about me. So that's about me. Now, let's move on to our agenda again, and let's see what else do we have on the agenda. What else do we have there? Let's check. So we are done with introduction to who I am. And the next thing there is, okay, so let's go. Let's go back to the agenda. So we are done with introduction of myself. So this is done. Introduction, founder, Agita Consulting. Yeah. Now, introduction to Agita Consulting. Introduction to Agita Consulting. So what is Agita Consulting all about? So right now, I'll share a few things with you. What is Agita Consulting all about? What have we been doing? Who are we? Who are we in Agita? So let's find out about us. I'll be opening Google right now, and you get to know what we have been up to. Because if you are taking your time to listen to me tonight, then you need to know what we are all about. So let me share. Digital consulting, right? I love to do this. So right here. So you want to find out about digital consulting. The first thing to do is to search for digital consulting reviews, right? Digital consulting reviews. So every day I hear from people who want to break into tech, and they have one major concern. And the major concern is, oh, sir, a lot of people, they talk about this tech thing, all these training institutes, they make a lot of noise. But by the time you get into it, you just realize that it's not what they say it is. And whenever people tell me that, I just say, well, what I will advise you is, before you even do anything with digital consulting, check out our reviews, right? Just check out our reviews. Don't take my word for it. So just check out our reviews. And we didn't used to take reviews seriously until recently, when we told our students to just go out there and give us some reviews, right? So we've never really taken reviews seriously. We just believe that, oh, we just do what we have to do and we do our work well. But you can just check out these reviews and see for yourself. So that is one way you can know more about digital consulting. Just check out the reviews. See what some students have said. A lot of students have said about us. So take your time to check us out. Now, another way you can find out more about digital consulting, of course, our website is there, but our website is what we say about ourselves. right? So let's check out our Instagram page. So we've been mentioned in some dailies, Guardian, Independent Newspaper, Vanguard, Business Day. You know, we've been around some time and we've had all this mentioned. But let's go to Instagram. So the other time we went to my personal page. Now let's go to Instagram. So when you go on Instagram, you can find us on Instagram. You can, so this is our Instagram page. Just search for Agital Consulting. Agital Consulting, and our page will pop up. Yeah, we've not been doing so much on our Instagram page, but at least you could see one or two things here and there, and that would just be it, right? But another way you can find out a lot about Agital, and this is very, very, very important, is LinkedIn. What did I say? LinkedIn. 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 That is where to find a lot about Agital. So you go to LinkedIn, right there. Right there. LinkedIn is right here. And once you get on LinkedIn, this is Agital. Right. So now here's what you do. You search Agital Consulting on LinkedIn, and when you search Agital Consulting, you go to post. You go to post. Now, when you get to post, you will see the activities of students of Agital. For instance, Prince Chinon, so this was a year ago. I'm happy that I'm starting a new position as data analyst at Agital Consulting. This was Aluogo Emmanuel. So you can see the activities of our students, and you can see how practical in nature our programs are. You can see how practical in nature our programs are. So see how people results. Right. So no. I'm looking at post. You can see post. Okay. Then we go to see all post results. No. This must be a network glitch. You can see post. Okay, so if you take your time, I think this is just a glitch in their system. But if you click on this, you will see all the posts. And you could also check out, okay, the posts are even here. You can see the post, what the students have been up to, you know, on and on and on. And let's go to the second page. So of course you see cybersecurity, you see some other things, but you also find data analysis. For instance, a Beatu Messi, you can see the projects she's already doing in data analysis, right? So on and on and on. So this is a way for you to understand how our training is done. It's practical in nature, and we have a lot of students to show for what we have been doing all this while. So this is very, very important. So this is a cybersec student, you know, and you keep going on and on and on, and you just find more about us. So I think now we are done with the introduction. So let's go back to my slide. Let's go back to my outline for today. We are done with the introduction to Agital Consulting. Introduction to Agital Consulting. We are done with that. Now, the next thing on the agenda is why tech? Why tech? Why a career in tech? Why data analysis? Why transition to tech and to data analysis? So if you are still with me, can I see your hands? If you are still with me, I want to see your hands. I want to see your hands if you are still with me. If I don't see your hands, I'm not going to continue. Okay, some people are still with me, right? So I'll continue. Now, why tech? So at this point, I will share this slide. with you. I have a slide for that. I'll just share a small slide with you and run you through why tech. Why tech? So let me do this. Share the slide. Okay. Now, so you can see it. So why tech? Why switch to a career in tech? Well, the reason for tech is because IT opportunities are abundant, but the laborers are few. There are opportunities in tech, especially if you're in Europe, if you're in the UAE, there are enough opportunities in tech. Like, you see, let me say this, a lot of Africans and some Asians, when they get to Europe, United Kingdom, Ireland, Germany, the many jobs are easier to get, but there's no career progression. So you could work in a warehouse, your work. And I say these things because I have in the UK, in Europe, at the moment, we have hundreds of students that we have trained in Europe alone, in the hundreds, maybe 400 students that we've trained in Europe. And I'm talking of just this year alone. So I understand these things. And some of them who are not even done with their trainings have started to secure jobs, even though their training is not even over. So I am speaking from the perspective of a very well-informed person who understands the marketplace and who understands the labor market very well. And I want you to please listen to me. And whatever I say, do your independent research on it. So there are warehouse jobs, there are cleaning jobs, restaurant jobs, and there are also the extremes like the farm laborer jobs, the factory work, but there's dignity in labor. So you can't disdain. Of course, there's care worker too. So nobody's profession should be disdained. But here's the thing about tech. There are always job opportunities in tech. Tech can never be saturated. Never. Never be saturated. Before I got into university, I dabbled into tech briefly then. And by the time I got back into tech, as at 2005, I dabbled into tech. But by the time I got back into tech in 2019, right, I was still surprised that there were still a lot of opportunities in tech. So tech is evergreen. In 2005, then I was using the likes of Dreamweaver, Microsoft Front Page. Then the programming tools we used was Visual Basic. Then we're still hearing things around Fortran back then Visual Basic. We're still looking at C++, right? But by the time I got back in 2019, there was nothing like Front Page Dreamweaver anymore. Now we're talking of Elementor. We're talking of WordPress. Now we had the likes of Python, programming language. We're now having things around AI now. We're talking AI now, right? So back then, there was AI, but not as pronounced as this. So tech can never be saturated. So if you're in a job, if you're in a career, and you feel stuck, you feel that you are not making any progress, I want to tell you that in tech, there are always opportunities. And the reason is because many people don't go into tech because they don't have the right knowledge. They feel that every Um, I just had a trip off, but I'm back now. That was just a trip off. Yeah, sorry about that. My connection just off. So Pigo came to UK, masters in elect, and after his masters in elect program, and he wasn't getting jobs, and he went to learn data analysis. He went to learn data analysis. First interview, second, by the third interview, he had gotten his first data analysis job. No long story, no struggle. So the thing about tech is there are opportunities there. I have students of ours who started their training in March this year. By June, they had already gotten a job. Now, it doesn't mean that, oh, the jobs are just on the street and just pick them up. No. So that is not what I am saying. But what I'm saying is that if you do the right things, it is not rocket science. If you do the right thing, it is not rocket science. It's so beautiful that you can get jobs even outside of your location. I have a student of ours who is in the UK who has gotten a job in Germany, and it's a relocation job in Germany. So you can be in UAE and you can get a relocation job, and they do your. So if you, it's a program, it's a system. If you do A, B, and C and D, you'll be fine. You do A, B, C, and D, you get the answer. So because, like I said, in 2003, before I got in university, I dabbled into tech. There were a lot of opportunities there. I left tech, went into banking, went into consulting. I graduated banking consulting for 7 years. Then 2019, I just stumbled again into, and I was shocked that the opportunities are still there. So from some of you might be thinking, oh, this tech boom. Oh, you see, tech has always been, it has always been, it is evergreen, evergreen. So I just had to say that. I just had to say that. Now, of course, I've said that there's potential for remote jobs, flexible job schedules, freelancing, a shortcut into making 6-digit income. The beauty of tech, let me shock you, is the fact that you can be in Germany, you can be in Ireland, you're working in Ireland, and you're working for organizations even outside of Europe or outside of your location. That's the beauty. You can work as a freelancer, right? You can work as a freelancer because this is tech. You don't have to be physically present to deliver on the job. All you have is an high in demand skill, a skill that has high in demand. And let me also say this. At times, because I engage our students all the time, and many of them, before they got in, they had this fear that, everybody's learning tech. Everybody's learning tech. Oh, will there be opportunities? The thing is, a lot of people are learning tech. A lot of people are trying to break into tech. No doubt about that. But there is a supply. There is a supply. There is a huge supply. So there's a lot of tech jobs. It is matching up with the applicants or the newbies who are breaking into tech. It is matching. So the supply is matching up with the demand. Now, no IT background needed. You don't need an IT background. You heard me right. You don't need an IT background. You don't need an IT background. In the field of tech, bring a bid here, you will share more insights on this. In the field of tech, what is required, primarily required, is your skill. What can you do? Your skill. Can you deliver on the job? That is what is necessary. That is what is needed. Nobody cares really about whether you. Now, there's nothing wrong. Some of you listening to me, you are in the UK, you are in Ireland, you are in Germany, you are in UAE, and you came via a master's degree. Some of you follow that approach. But listen, that master's degree has helped you to get into the Western world. Master's degree is not what will get you that job. What will get you that job is the skill that you get. This is how the job market works. I will show you. No age constraint. No age constraint. I always show us this lady at the age of 44, she transitioned into tech. So no age constraint. So Don't take my word for it. Let's dive into this. Let's dive right in. So don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Okay, don't take my word for it. Let's dive into this. Okay, ready to go. Now, let's do this week. What are the data analysis jobs that came out this week? And we'll use United Kingdom as a case study for this. So United Kingdom, data analyst, data analyst. United Kingdom, data analyst. So here we are. This past week in the United Kingdom, we have 674 results. Now, this is LinkedIn alone. There is Indeed, there is Monster, there is Dice, there is Glassdoor, there is Reed, but this is Indeed. Sorry, this is LinkedIn. Right? So let's get into it. Data analyst. In the rapid job, you do this, you do this. Skills, Python, Unix, SQL, basic understanding of computer vision, high attention to details. Bam. That's all. That's all. You hear what I said? That's all. No masters in these. No, that's all. So let's look at this one. Data analysis, Morgan McKinley. Job response is UK, is remote. So this is a remote job. It's 6 months contract. So that's good. Skills, Babel, this. Basic knowledge of Python, Unix, SQL, basic knowledge of computer science, actually your equivalent in or other STEM subject. Prior industrial experience, and this up to 3 years experience. We're still talking about that experience thing, because that thing is something that scares people away. So this experience thing is the same thing as your portfolio of projects. So for those who will see, oh, 3 years experience, I do have an experience. Don't worry about that. And when you attend a boot camp, there are even ways around that. So now, product data analyst. So let's look at this. When you see product data analyst, it's still the same thing as data analyst. It's just collaborate closely with this, right? 5 years product analytics. You can see Power BI, product analytics team, data modeling, right? So business intelligence analyst, data analyst mid-level. We could go on and on and on. So what are we saying? Collect, process, develop Python, this. Let's go on. Junior data analyst. Let's look at this. Let's look at the skill set here. And I think I will end there. Data discovery, profiling of data, data this. SQL, data handling in Excel. What sets us apart? What happens next? That's all. No university degree. These ones don't even care about any work experience. Do you have the skill? We are good to go. And these are jobs. These are jobs. Data insights analyst, data analyst, these are jobs. Now, the beautiful thing about it is that data analysis is not the only way of searching. I will still give you 2 or 3 other ways of searching. Another way you can also search is power intelligence analyst. Power intelligence analyst. Let's just, sorry, I wanted to say Power BI, but let's do business intelligence analyst. Business intelligence analyst, we should have maybe like another 600 and something. Business intelligence analyst. Okay. Okay, so let's try to search it. Why was there a problem loading my filter? Search. Okay. Let me go back to. Okay. Yeah, finally we are here. Business intelligence analyst. So let's check this out about the job. So these are other ways you can check business intelligence analyst. Another way you can do product data analyst. You can do marketing data analyst. So that's that about that. So let's go back to my slide. Let's go back to my slide. Let's go back to my slide. Now we said no age constraint. So we are still on why tech, why data analyst. Well, LinkedIn is your friend. We've checked on LinkedIn, right? There's also Indeed, right? So let's go back to the program for today. We go back to the program for today. So we've answered the question, why tech, why data analyst, why transition to tech and to data analysis. Now, if you ask me why data analysis, the reason why data analysis is because two reasons. Even if you're not a data analyst, there are opportunities you will miss out because you lack data analysis skills. So an organization is recruiting you, and they're not recruiting you to be a data analyst. But because you don't have data analysis skills, you miss out on the opportunity. The job might not even be a core tech skill. You might just be recruited for but because you can't use Excel well, you are lost when Power BI is presented, then you just lose the job because they see someone who can use Excel very well. And when people say I can use Excel very well, there are levels in Excel. There are levels in Excel. So let me just say that. So let's just be like, there are levels in Excel. Now, number two reason why data analysis is an high in demand tech skill is the fact that all organizations run on data. All organizations need data. All organizations. So every organization needs a data analyst. Need data analysts. Need data analysts. Is a surge in the demand for data analysts. And that is why this demand will never end. It will just keep coming because every organization needs data. They need to work on data, right? They need to work on data. So that is why the demand is the way it is. That is why the demand is the way it is, right? So data analysis is a very, very high in demand skill. And if you're trying to break into tech, the third reason is that the barrier to entry is quite low. So the demand for data analysts is high. The barrier to entry is also low. 4 months, you are good to go. All you need to acquire your Microsoft Excel with projects, your Power BI with good projects, your SQL with projects, and your Python with projects. Now, another thing I didn't have the time to show you because of the glitch, there is also a role for Python data analyst. So there are just many ways of searching, right? Python data analyst. There is a role for that. So you can use Excel, Power BI, SQL for data analysis, but you can also use Python. So Python is used for data science. Python is also used for data analysis. And don't get it twisted. Python programming language is one of the easiest, if not the easiest programming language. If you are using it for data analysis, it's not like, it's not core programming. It's not as hard as when you are trying to program something. You are using the Python to analyze data, right? So if you have these four skill sets, you are good to go. Excel, your Power BI, your SQL, your Python for data analysis, you are good to go. Like you are just good to go. So that is why data analysis is very, very important. Very, very important. So now we've answered that. Now the next question is, before I bring Abid in, right? Abid is a technical recruiter. And oh, Abid is even here already. It's 7:45. Abid is here. And I will be asking, I'll be bringing Abid, who will be with us for like 30, 40 minutes thereabouts. So let me bring Abid in. Let me bring Abid in. So, okay. So we are waiting for Abid to, okay, so I need to mute.
I'm here. Hello there. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Abid. I'm trying to bring your video on.
Okay, okay.
I have to, I think I might have to make you the host in order
Um,
to bring your video. Or
yeah,
can you
I
turn
think
on your
so.
video?
I think so.
Try to turn on your video.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's
not
not
able
turning
to
on.
turn it on.
Okay, so let me make you the host, so I think you can turn on your video
Okay.
now.
I can, and you can see
Yeah.
me. Hello, hi.
You're welcome, Abid. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I just caught the last few moments of your session there. It seemed really, really
Okay.
interesting. How are you?
Yeah. I'm doing good too. The last time we had a session, you were rejoicing.
Oops, I think I've lost you there. Hi, are you back? I lost you there.
Yeah, I'm back. I said the last time we had this session, when we ended the session, then you were rejoicing that England had made it to the finals of of the Euro Cup, but yeah, they lost.
Yes,
Sorry about that.
yes, yes. What a difference a week makes, huh? But yeah,
Hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes, I think I caught your question, and I was saying what a difference a
Okay,
week makes, huh? A week is a long time, but hey ho, we were runners up this time. Maybe next time. Let's see.
yeah. Okay, so just for our viewers, I know some of them already know about you, but I've introduced you that you have years of experience as a technical recruiter at LinkedIn, at Uber, Teradata, and
And Microsoft, the one that everybody
Microsoft.
around
Yeah,
the world
I
is
forgot
talking
Microsoft. Here
about right
tonight
now.
to speak to. What did you say?
I was just saying, and Microsoft, the company that everybody around the world is talking about right now because of the outages.
Ex exactly, exactly. So
I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I've switched my camera off just so that we can save on some bandwidth. Hi there. Can anybody hear me? Hello, can anybody hear me? For those of you who are on the call and can hear me, we'll just wait for Adebayo to rejoin the call. I think there are some technical issues going on.
Hello, Abid.
Hello, are we back?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I am. I am. So, um, let's just get straight into it. You've worked as a technical recruiter for many years, and you've gotten a lot of experience along the way. So, my first question tonight is, how do organizations actually recruit candidates? What is the process they follow to get candidates for the jobs? So
Mhm.
how does it start? Can you just walk us through the process from the ideation to the recruitment of the candidates? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, more than happy to do so. And just for the purposes of everybody, I've switched my camera off because I know there's some poor connections. So just that we can sort of
Okay.
increase bandwidth as much as possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can
So,
switch it on back. You can switch it on back. Yeah. I'm back now.
right, let's try. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see how it goes. Okay, fab. So in
Yeah.
terms of recruitment, I think sometimes it is a myth by a lot of people who think that, oh, recruitment's really easy. Somebody tells you what kind of people to find, you go and find those people, and the hiring manager will interview those people, and whoever the person is that the hiring manager likes, he or she will recruit that person. And I'm
Mm,
sure we have a lot of people on this call. I think just looking at the numbers, we have around 100 people. And I'm
yeah.
sure that there will be a large amount of people from that 100 people who think, yeah, absolutely, that's the same. Or some people might think, oh, well, you know what? Actually, I had a really good CV and I was sure I'd get an interview, but that XYZ recruiter rejected me for some reason and I can't understand why. But so today we'll talk a little bit about sort of the recruitment process and in many ways how recruiters will go about selecting certain candidates for certain roles. Now, just from the start, let me clarify, every company will have their own sometimes really different process, but I'm just going to take you through a generic process today in
Mm,
terms of
mm,
how hiring a person would start. So first of
mm,
all, before we go on to that, I think we'll just rewind a little bit further back and think about why a company would want to hire people. Or why they would need to contact their internal recruiter. So there could be many reasons. Number one, first reason that springs to mind, it's a brand new project, brand new team. Um, the manager has been appointed now. That person wants to build a team around him or her. And in that instance, it could be that that hiring manager at that one point is looking for three, four, five, sometimes even up to eight people or more. So that's one reason. Another reason why someone would be potentially hiring is that somebody's been promoted internally or they've made a sideways move into another part of the business. So they need to replace that person. And in technological terms or in recruitment terms, we just quite simply call that a backfill.
mm,
Third reason why somebody would need to come on place is again, someone's moved sideways or moved internally, or somebody has just completely left the company. Say, for example, the easiest example for me to give you right now is somebody's left Google for Microsoft for Google, or vice versa. So that person's left, or somebody may have relocated. So, there are quite a lot of reasons why a role appears on LinkedIn or whichever other job board. So what would normally happen in that situation is that we would be alerted by maybe a recruitment manager, or maybe by the hiring manager himself or herself, to say, look, you are the specialist for Middle East and Africa. Okay, you're the specialist, you're the person, you're the lead recruiter for digital sales, let's just say, for Microsoft. And
mm,
I've got this new role and I want this role filling up as soon as
mm,
possible, basically. So first thing that we would do, that chat 9 times out of 10 would be on Teams or via email, so quite formal. And then we would arrange a recruiter and hiring manager conversation. And if the hiring manager feels as though they want an existing employee or a colleague to be on that call, then they would invite whoever they want. So we'll find out a lot of sort of key things about that particular role at that point. So things like we need to know, because we need to enhance our knowledge. So things like what I've just been speaking about, for example, is it a backfill? Do you need a new person on your team because you're expanding? Is it because people are not hitting their targets? We need to know that reason. Then we'll find out a little bit about who's on that team at the moment. So that could be in terms of diversity, it could be even something as simple as a gender split. So, if are there 8 males and just 2 females on a
mm,
team of 10? So we want to
mm,
look and we want to help. And remember, the hiring manager and recruiter team is not the hiring manager dictating to recruiters what he or she would like. It's very much a 50-50 partnership, because we are we're teaching each other, basically, and we're giving each party knowledge at the same time. So yeah, we'd look at that. We'd look at perhaps something like socio-economic background as well. Everybody that you've got on your team at the moment, hiring manager, are they all straight A-star students that have come from maybe Oxford or Cambridge University? And if that hiring manager says, yeah, then I will absolutely have a word with that hiring manager and say, you know what, look, you need to break that cycle, because that team is not very inclusive right now. And there are lots of different ways of being inclusive in a team. In terms of community background, is that person from a geographical location? That brings up diversity, because if we're hiring everybody, let's say from the south of the country, there's no representation from up north of the country. And that one person up north in the country can perhaps, really educate all the other people that are from down south. So it's very much a conversation that we would absolutely love to get involved in with the hiring manager, to explain and to sort of educate the hiring manager as well.
mm,
So once we've done that, we'll talk, of course, about salary and
mm,
level of salary, and sort of benchmarking and all of that. And then we will look at the interview process as well. Now, for me, a process that involves more than 3 steps is always too much. So if the hiring manager says that, I want this person, I want them to do a test, then meet person A, B, C, D. For me, no, it's not happening. We're not going to do that. We're going to make the interview simple. We're going to simplify the interview so that the candidate, whoever that candidate may be, even if they don't get the role, comes away from that experience, and we give them a positive view of the company. Now, again,
mm,
just referring to the participants on this call right now, I'm sure that there will be some of you guys on this call right now that have had maybe 4 or 5 steps throughout an interview process, and you've just
mm,
thought, what the hell was that? And at the end, you've not got the job. it doesn't leave a very positive taste in your
mm,
mouth. And you will have seen some
mm,
maybe even LinkedIn posts of candidates
mm,
complaining that they've just been through 6 rounds, they've not had the
mm,
job, and they've wasted maybe 2, 3, 4 hours. Because remember, when you're a candidate, you're not just sort of going to be ready for the interview. You've got to take into account the nerves, maybe, and you've got to take into account the number of hours that you're preparing for that interview as
mm,
well. And then at the end of it,
mm,
if you don't get it,
mm,
you're not very impressed with that. So for me, that's a red flag. I will say no more than 3 rounds of interview. Okay, so we'll look at how we are going to do the interview. So when I was mentioning earlier about someone maybe building a brand new team and they're looking for maybe 5 individuals, then we will
mm,
talk about maybe having something like an assessment center where we're going to be doing all the interviews in one
mm,
day so that it's easier for the
mm,
candidates and it's easier for us as well. And I've been involved in projects like that as well, as particularly within
mm,
Microsoft digital sales,
mm,
where the candidate, we've selected candidates. They've had a hiring manager, sorry, a recruiter call with myself, and then they've had ample notice that we've told them that we're going to
mm,
do an assessment center next Thursday,
mm,
and you're going to have
mm,
2 interviews on the same day by two
mm,
different people. So maybe one in the morning and one in the afternoon. The thing with that is that it's over and done with, for the candidate. They know that next Thursday is my big day to shine or not to shine, and then it's over and done. And I think that's a lot less pressure on the candidate rather than waiting for rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds and doing them. And it's a lot easier for companies involved as well. So we will draw up a strategy depending upon the type of role
mm,
it is and the interview process as well. And
mm,
then we will quite simply, once we've got everything aligned and made sure that there's nothing else to add, make sure that the advert is legally watertight as well. And I think a couple of weeks ago, I was mentioning particularly the likes of Microsoft and some other big companies are now working towards more of a
mm,
skills-based approach. And I think just as I came onto
mm,
the call, this fits in very nicely. You were talking about data analysts and Excel. So that's an example of a skills-based role. So you might not necessarily have gone to university, but you can still be a data analyst if it is for companies like Microsoft or Google or LinkedIn, say, for example,
mm,
because they won't
mm,
necessarily look at whether you've been to university. They just want to
mm,
see whether you've got the right skills or otherwise.
mm.
So we'll make sure
Yeah.
that the advert is legally watertight. And then we
Mm,
will publish that advert on the job boards that we have an affiliation with,
mm.
so be it LinkedIn, be it
Yeah. So,
Reed, or whatever.
yeah. So, Abid, yeah, I think you've done justice to that question. So I'll just move to the second question because
Sure.
we still have a long way to go. So, you have published a job advert and students have applied to the job and CVs are flying in, or maybe in this approach, you are going on LinkedIn to look out for profiles of possible candidates, right? So my next question is, what do you look out for in CVs and LinkedIn profiles that prompts interview invitations? Because it's
Great.
not every candidate that applies that gets invited for interviews. And some of our listeners have actually been applying for jobs and they are just thinking, we're not getting interviews. So I think that's the next question from your experience as a technical recruiter. Mm, yeah.
Sure, absolutely. And yeah, I do absolutely get that. Some people do apply and they just think it's just a circle of infinity because they keep applying, they keep getting rejections, and the wheel just goes round and round and
Mm,
round and round. So
mm,
what I would definitely suggest here is when you are applying for a role, So I'll look
mm,
at it from the recruiter side in a second, but I'm going to look at it from a candidate side because I think that will help many of the people on the call. So when you
mm,
are applying for a role, first of all, make sure that I know it sounds obvious, but the number of people that do not do it is quite a lot actually. Make sure that you read the job advert properly. I
mm,
can't stress that enough. And look at the keywords within that job description, within the job advert as well. So if it's looking for somebody who's worked in, I don't know, large multinationals, let's just say, okay, if you have, perhaps you want to put that right at the top in your opener
mm,
on your CV so that it
mm,
catches the eye of the recruiter. Look at keywords and even compare 2 or 3 job adverts that you are interested in and look for commonalities. So if, job A, B, and C mentions the word data driven, maybe 3 on each of the adverts, it would be a pretty good idea to have in your CV, perhaps more than once, sometimes even the word data
mm.
driven,
Driven.
or even on your LinkedIn profile as well. If a job
Mm,
advert mentions a language, please make sure that you have that, quite prominent on your CV or quite prominent on your LinkedIn profile. In fact, there is a languages section on your LinkedIn profile that you can add that because generally let's say a data analyst in company A and a data analyst in company B. Generally,
mm,
you were talking about, every company needs a data analyst, and that's absolutely correct. Generally, to be fair, they'll be doing the same thing. Okay, they'll be analyzing data. There's no 2 words about that. But what you need to really do and hone in on is what is the difference between company A and what is company B looking for. If company A are looking for somebody with great Excel knowledge, and company B haven't even mentioned Excel, when you're applying to company A, it's a damn good idea to have that right at the top because that's exactly what they are looking for. So read the job description carefully. What do we look for as recruiters in people's CVs? Uh, Definitely, we look for location. Definitely, if that requirement and the requirement, these kind of jobs are generally in sales, in technology sales, where hiring managers or recruiters are looking for specific languages. So, if I was to you know find somebody with a particular language, obviously if once CVs start coming in and I'm inundated with 100 200 CVs, let's say for example, I'll be looking at the language part. Do they speak fluent Italian, say for example? And the ones that
mm,
don't, they will, 9 times out of 10 automatically be disqualified because we've already established as a hiring manager and as a team that this person will not be successful in this role unless they know Italian, because they will be dealing with the Italian market. So language, definitely. We look at experience. We definitely look at keywords. And this is what I was telling you, talking to you about earlier about keywords. So we definitely look at keywords. And also, as well as your LinkedIn profile and your CV, we will, consciously, subconsciously look for spelling and grammatical errors as well. So, as if I read your CV and, the first few lines are just full of spelling and grammatical errors, chances are I won't proceed with your application to the next level because I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking, okay, you are telling me or you allege that you are keen to work for Microsoft, but you haven't really given your application that much thought. And if
mm,
this is the most crucial part of
mm,
any application, and I'm sure your listeners will know, is the most
mm.
absolute most crucial part is getting your foot in the door. And if you
Exactly.
haven't spent enough time on your CV, and I'm seeing grammatical spelling mistakes, you're clearly not the person for Microsoft because you don't meet the basic ethics of the culture that we have at Microsoft, at whoever it is, Uber or whoever that is. So that one, and I think I mentioned last time as well about email addresses.
Mm,
Again, I cannot stress this one enough. Please ensure that you have a professional email address.
mm,
And that 9 times out of 10 will be your first name dot surname or your first name surname with a
mm,
series of numbers at the end. That's absolutely fine. Try to avoid, sexy girl next door or the blue
mm,
monster. They
mm,
are absolute no-nos. I mean,
mm.
the best way to look at it is put yourself in the position of that
Oh,
hiring manager or that
exactly,
recruiter. Okay. And then look
exactly.
at your
Yeah.
CV and then think to yourself, would I hire this person? If this CV came through to my on my screen, would I actually want to even engage in a conversation with this person? It's all about how you sell yourself. So those are the most sort of critical things I would say that we look for.
Mm. Okay, cool. So that's interesting, right? So the next question I want to ask is, so the candidates are scaled through the CV, the CV stood out and it was called for the interview. So what happens at the interviews and how are successful candidates chosen at the
Okay,
interviews? Yeah.
perfect. Okay. So again, I'm being very generic here. So
Mm,
what should happen at an interview is that you should get a call from the recruiter. The recruiter will have a nice conversation with you,
mm,
talk to you about your background. And remember again what I said earlier as part of the last question. This
mm,
is your chance to shine. This is your chance to get your foot through the door. So
mm,
a recruiter call could be in
mm,
many formats. It could be just a normal telephone call where a recruiter will
mm,
call you out of the blue and start talking. If you can talk, if you can't talk, absolutely no issues. Tell them that you're at work at the moment and rearrange an appropriate time. The recruiter might email you and say, ask you to pick a time from his or her calendar, or they might give you a time. So if it is a video call, and we touched upon this very briefly last time as well, please make sure that your background surroundings are come across as being neat or tidy. If
mm,
if that is not possible, sometimes we live in shared households and things
mm,
happen. I get that. Please, for goodness sake, put a background on or blur your background. There's nothing
mm,
wrong with doing anything like that. But as long as you can shine through that screen, okay, and nobody is taking note of,
mm,
I hate to say it, but it's happened. Uh, a couple of bras hanging in the background
mm,
or anything like
mm,
that, please make sure that your surroundings are professional because that shows to the recruiter that you're ready and raring to go. So
mm,
once you've had that chat with the recruiter, 9 times out of 10, the recruiter will tell you what the next round of interview is, who it's going to be with, and what
mm,
it's going to be about. If the recruiter does not, then there's something seriously wrong, and that's when you should pipe up and you should
mm,
ask them, who am I going to be interviewed by in the next round, and what sort of questions should I expect? Will it be a
mm,
competency-based interview, or will it be a skills-based interview,
mm,
or will it be I don't know, just a normal getting to know you background type of interview?
mm,
So you need to know what type
mm,
of interview you're going to be letting yourself in
mm,
for.
mm,
And also, it's a great idea at this point in time, if the recruiter hasn't done so already, to ask the recruiter whether there is any extra material online or any PDFs that they can send you to help
mm,
you to prepare for your interview. That's
mm,
always a great question to ask
mm,
because to the recruiter straight away, it shows that you're taking initiative. You're owning this. You're owning this meeting, and you're going in, and you've already got plans to own the next meeting that you have with whoever that might be. So you want to arm yourself. Remember, as much as with as many tools as possible. So ask these questions to the
Mm,
recruiter.
mm,
So what happens next whenever you are preparing for your interview? So let's just say the next stage interviews with the hiring manager. Okay. So the first thing that I would do is I will look up the hiring manager on LinkedIn. Absolutely. God, hell, yes, I would. Find out a little bit about the hiring manager, find out a little bit about what makes the hiring manager tick, and find out a little bit about the hiring manager's background as well. It's
mm,
always great. And of course, when you are on LinkedIn, you can see who that hiring manager is also connected with. And
mm,
have a look. And the number of times I've done this, honestly, it
mm,
really works.
mm,
Just have a little look and see whether you and this particular hiring manager has any mutual connections as well.
mm,
That's
mm,
always a great conversation starter.
mm,
Or you can always put that into the conversation at some point. Hey, guess what? I had a look at your LinkedIn earlier, and we've got Joe Blogs in common. Oh, actually, I actually worked with Joe. How do you know Joe? So
mm,
it's always a great idea. Sometimes a hiring manager will, say, I don't actually know Joe, but they reached out and I can, that's fine.
mm,
But as long, you know what, it actually gets you closer in the middle, closer to the hiring manager because you're telling them, I actually know Joe Blogs. Joe Blogs connected out to you.
mm,
And if Joe Blogs has got a good profile, it actually brings you mentally closer to the hiring manager, if that makes sense. So
mm,
it's also a great conversation starter as well.
mm,
So
mm,
absolutely do that. Have a look at what you've got in common and just have a little look at the hiring manager's background. It could be that, I don't
mm,
know, sometimes weird things happen. It could be that he went to the same high school as you many, many years ago.
mm,
Weird and wonderful things happen to people all the time, right? So it's
mm,
always great to do that. Also make sure you have questions prepared, and we touched upon this last time as well.
mm, mhm,
I would say have at least 7 to 9 questions prepared
mm,
in terms of at the end of the interview. And
mm,
another thing that I tell my candidates to do is if you already know that this is going to be a competency-based interview, let's say, for example, so they're going to ask you, tell me about the last time you did X, Y, and Z.
mm,
What I used to tell my candidates at Microsoft, especially, is that look, nobody knows you as much as you know you, if that makes sense.
mm,
Okay. So
mhm.
you know
Yeah,
what
sure.
your achievements are, you know what your
Mm,
flaws are. And remember, this hiring manager doesn't know anything about you or very little
mm,
about you apart from your CV. So
mm,
what I would do, I mean, if it's a competency-based interview, okay, chances are, okay, they're gonna ask you, what project did you have the most impact on? It doesn't
mm,
take a genius. I mean, if you're applying for maybe a data analyst job, let's just say out of the blue, okay, it
mm,
doesn't take a genius to work out. And if the recruiters told you it's a competency-based interview,
mm,
you kind of know they're going to ask you when did when was the last time you worked with data under pressure, let's say, for
mm,
example. When was what was the size of the organization that you were a data analyst for? So what
mm,
I would do in that situation is I would absolutely list my top 10 achievements either on
mm,
a in my notepad or on my
mm,
screen, just in a little box there,
mm,
because if the hiring manager asks you something maybe similar to that, you've already, rather than spending that maybe, 10, 12
mm,
seconds and 10, 12 seconds of silence in an interview, and I'm sure you know this, feels like eternity, right? Because
mm,
you're on the
mhm,
spot. 10, 12 seconds of dead air
mm,
just feels
mm,
like eternity. But
mm.
if you've got your best examples already in front of you,
Yeah,
in note form, okay,
exactly.
you can
Yeah.
just scan through that and you think, okay, I'm going to use this situation to answer
Mm,
that question. What does that do? It saves your brain processing power, okay,
mhm,
so that you're thinking about formulating your answer as opposed to,
mm,
oh my God,
mm,
which scenario shall I tell him about? And your
mm,
brain's running a million miles an hour, thinking, oh my
mm,
God, shall I use this scenario or shall I use that? So you've got your
mm,
best ones written out already.
mm,
So
mm,
that
mm,
would be a top tip for me as well.
mm, mm,
Have a conversation, and I know some people get nervous during interviews. I just want to very quickly touch upon this point as well. Um, Okay, and the way I'll let you into my world a little bit. The way
mm,
I always think about interviews, whenever I have
mm,
an interview, is God damn it, at the end of the day, it's one human speaking to another human. What will
mm,
be shall be, as long as I give it my 100%. Okay.
mm,
So
mm,
just think I'm speaking with another human, because sometimes people get all wound up and think, oh my God, what I
mm, mm,
can't do this. And they start shaking, nerves get to
mm.
the better of them. Just think it's one human to another. And all I'm going to do to the best of my ability is to sell myself and convince this person why they need to hire me.
Exactly. So thank you for that, Abid, because I'm looking at the time and I still have to round up. So my
Sure.
final question is, you are a career coach at Agita Consulting, and you have classes with our students on CV revamp, LinkedIn optimization, interview prep, tech interview prep, career networking, things around career. So for the students who are coming into Agita, and of course who will be attending your sessions, what should they be expecting at these sessions? The sessions are 2 hours, 2.5 hours max. So what really happens at these career coaching
Sure.
sessions with you?
Sure. Yes. So first of all, I'd love to meet as many of you guys as possible on the career coaching sessions. I think we'll have a
Mm,
blast. We'll try and make it um, a lot more interactive as well, so that I'm listening and answering the questions of people who are in this situation on the ground. So we'll try and make that informal. But just as you said, really, we'll be looking at CVs, how to how to come up with a great looking CV, how to come up with a instantly recognizable or really strong first paragraph, what you should include and what you shouldn't include on a CV. Basically, we'll be having a look at, as you said earlier, LinkedIn optimization, my favorite topic.
mm.
We'll have a
I
look
worked
at
in LinkedIn
little.
for many years, so you know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have a look at how, little things that can make your LinkedIn profile stand out better, stand out more versus somebody who perhaps will not have had this session. So maybe we will, even if you haven't got a LinkedIn profile already, maybe we'll go through a PowerPoint on how to set up a LinkedIn profile. I think that would be great, because some people might be thinking, oh, I don't know if LinkedIn's for me. So we'll have a look at why we think LinkedIn is, the greatest platform right now, sort of in terms of professional help. And we'll be discussing your challenges that you may have in, one or even particularly more than one particular country, in regards to recruitment and sort of getting through the front door. So essentially, we'll be discussing all things talent acquisition / recruitment related.
Yeah. So thank you, Abid. It's been a wonderful time with you tonight, and we'll see you in the career coaching class. So I'll continue my session. I just have a few minutes left. So do have a wonderful
Thank
time.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye for
Always a
now.
pleasure to come on, and
Yeah.
I will see you soon, I'm sure.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye bye.
Yeah. So back to my slide. If you are still with me, I still have a few minutes left with you. Kindly let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. If you are still with me, okay. I think people are still with me. If you are with me, can I see your hands? Okay, yeah. So thank you for the assurance that you're all still following and you're all still here tonight. So back to my slide, and I will back to the outline for tonight's class. So we are done with that bit. So what we have next here is, what exactly is data analysis? And I'll just have to run through this because You can't learn data analysis in one day, but I'll just try to run through this, right? So let me share this slide with you. There's a slide that's, it's a very beautiful slide, and it explains it well enough. Explains it well enough. So let's go. So now, so this data analysis, let's just do this. There's quantitative data, there's discrete, continuous data, qualitative data. Who is a data analyst? A professional who gathers, cleans, analyzes, visualizes data for the purpose of providing solution to a problem. Difference between data analyst and data science right there. So popular tools, there's Excel, there's Power BI, there's SQL. But the part I will really talk about in the few minutes I have is descriptive analysis, right? So this deals with the question, what? What? So here we analyze data, mostly historical data, to find out what has happened in the past. So when you hear descriptive analysis, that is what has happened. There's diagnostic analysis. This deals with the why has the what happened. So that is descriptive, that's diagnostic analysis. Why? So for example, a company realizes that there's an increase in sales of a company. That is just descriptive. But diagnostic is why. Why was there an increase, right? Why was there an increase? So then we look at predictive analysis. So here we want to predict future outcomes. So we are trying to predict. So we look at descriptive, we've looked at descriptive, we've looked at diagnostic, we've looked at predictive. So we're trying to predict future outcomes, right? So the first thing is there was an increase. Why was there an increase? Diagnostics. Predictive. Will there be an increase or will there be a decrease? Then prescriptive analysis is built on predictive analysis, and it looks at what course of action should be taken in order to achieve the predicted outcomes or to prevent the predicted outcomes, depending on what divide. So those things are very important, and that's the one I feel I should share with us tonight. Then industry-based use of data analysis. We have the health sector. So here they generate, and these are sectors that data analysts can work in. So the health sector generates an enormous amount of data every day, and that is why in the UK, one of the great places you can work as a data analyst is with the NHS, right? We'll still come to that. So health sector, there's many hospitals, they need data analysts. A whole lot of hospitals need data analysts. There's entertainment sector, data analysts. There's e-commerce. A lot of e-commerce stores in Europe, in the UK, in Dubai, they all need data analysts, right? They need data analysts. The financial sector, and that is massive there. So that is why we have this huge demand for data analysts, because all these organizations are driven by data. They are data driven and they can't joke with their data, right? So that's much about it. With just running you through, there's data gathering, there's data pre-processing, there's data analysis, there's gaining insights from data. But because of our time, we have to move on, right? Like I said, that was to fulfill all righteousness, right? So if you are still with me, let me see your hand. So we've run through data analysis. Now, in rounding up tonight, we've had a long session. So how do you actually transition to data analysis? And here we have to now say it as it is. So I'll just try to merge 1 and 2 together of how digital helps you to transition to data analysis, right? And this is the system that we have built, right? And I want you to pay close attention. So this is how digital has helped thousands of Africans and Asians to transition to a career in tech. This is our methodology, and this is what you need. It doesn't matter whether you have a tech background or you don't have a tech background. It doesn't matter the current job that you are doing at the moment, whether it's a many-hour job. We understand. Our training is suited for people like you. And I want to walk you through our process. So first of all, there is the technical classes. There's the technical classes. So what happens in technical classes? We have classes on Saturdays and Sundays, right? Now, the classes will hold from 7 p.m. UK time. Now, don't get me wrong, this training is open to people in the UK, in Germany, in Ireland, and in UAE. But we just use the UK time as the benchmark, right? So 7 p.m. UK time to 9 p.m. UK time. Then Sundays, 7 p.m. UK time to 9 p.m. UK time, right? So in the technical, of course, the brochure will be shared on the group. You learn the technical aspect. So what do you learn? You learn MS Excel, you learn your Power BI, you learn SQL, that's structured query language. Then you learn Python for data analysis. Now, it's 4 months. It's 4 months for this. 4 months technical. Now, let me now explain to you why this is how you can break in. So classes are recorded and the replay is made available. So you can watch the replay. So there are times, because we've been doing this for years, right? There are times people will miss classes. Now, we don't encourage students to miss classes, but it happens because our students are working class. And I understand you're already working, you have a job, but you want to build a career for yourself. So this training has been designed with you in mind. We understand the terrain, we understand what you're trying to do, and we have designed this training to suit your own unique situation. So classes are recorded, the replay is made available to you now, and you can watch the replay. Aside that, there's a teaching assistant that works. The teaching assistant works Mondays to Saturdays. So even when you're watching the replay and you're trying to do your assignment or your project, the teaching assistant will help you out with the assignment and with the project. When I mean help you, I don't mean he will do it for you, because if he does it for you, the purpose has been defeated. But if you have challenges or you're stuck, because we have the belief that many of you don't have a tech background, you're trying to transition. So this teaching assistant job is different from your technical tutor. The work of the teaching assistant is to help you out, to help you with your project, your assignment, and if you get stuck while watching the replay. Now, but it doesn't end there. So there are now career coaches. We have career coaches. Right? So what's the job of these career coaches? They have a lot of jobs. Number one, they bring industry experience. And when the brochure is shared, you will see now there are two categories of the career coach. There's a technical career coach. And for your set, it's Abid. Abid is the Abid is the non-technical career coach. But for the technical career coach, you have Joshua and you have Fumbi for your batch. So Fumbi and Joshua, you get to see their profile. Then there's a non-technical career coach. And that is Abid. What's the difference? The technical career coach is a data analyst himself. So Joshua is a digital solutions architect at British Petroleum. He has worked at Amazon. He has worked at a couple of UK companies. You can check his profile. Fumbi has also worked at a whole lot of UK companies and is currently a data analyst, right? So these technical career coaches, they have lots of years of experience in Europe, working as a data analyst with a whole lot of organizations. So what they do is they bring the industry experience to the career coaching sessions. So your career coaching sessions hold twice in a month. So this is twice in a month. Now it's separate from your technical class, right? It's twice in a month. Now, what you are learning in this session is you are learning the industry requirements, right? Industry requirements. So these technical career coaching coaches, they bring that. They bring the industry experience. They show you what is happening in that unique industry, right? As a data analyst. And this will make it easier for you to pass interviews, right? They ensure that you know the projects to build. When you are building a portfolio of projects, you know the exact projects to put in your portfolio. So they have years of experience in the industry. They help you to navigate your way around. Now, industry requirements and experience. So what does Abid do? Abid is the non-technical career coach. So he handles the CV revamp, the LinkedIn optimization, the interview prep, career networking. But you see these technical career coaches, they're handling things like some of the exams you should take, some of the projects you should build, some of the industry-specific events you should attend, some of the industry-specific tools you should accustom yourself with because they've been there. So they understand what the industry needs. So we are looking at CV revamp, LinkedIn optimization, tech interview prep, career networking opportunities, right? I wouldn't call it hidden, but let me just call it hidden. Not so obvious job opportunities. There are some job opportunities in Europe that many people are not even aware those job opportunities exist in data analysis. And it takes someone who is in the industry, it takes a technical recruiter to know the existence of these jobs, right? So not so obvious job opportunities, then work reference, building a portfolio of projects. Now, somebody will now say that, hey, Gita, why is your own so hard? Like other institutes, we just go there and they train us, and after they train us, they do 2 months, they do 3 months, and that's it. What's your stress? So here's the thing. We always ensure that our students are the best. Now, another thing I didn't tell you is that career coaching never ends. What did I say? Career coaching doesn't end. So after your technical training has ended, your career coaching is ongoing. It only ends when you get your job. That's when it ends, when you get your job. And by the time you now get your job, you now be invited into the career coaching to share your experience, right? So as you're going for an interview, you are prepped for the interview. At your career coaching session, you are prepped. Oh, so this is the interview. So you are even shown what to apply for. Apply for this. So our training is a simulation, is a real training. This is not theory, talking stories. No, you are learning the skill. You are applying for the jobs. You get the invitations. You are applying for jobs. You are not getting an invite. Why? We look at your CV. What's the problem? Look at your application. Why are you not getting the interview invite? You start getting interviews. You say, I'm attending interviews. I'm not getting job. Not a problem. All the interviews you've attended, what really happened? What did they ask you? What did you say? What happened? Who interviewed you? Bam. We analyze. So this is a system. This is not a gamble. This is a system because the jobs are always there. The jobs are always there. By the time I check again by Monday, another set of new jobs would have been there. Another set of, because as people are getting into tech, some people are leaving tech to move into other things. Some people are leaving data analysis and they are moving into other areas. So more people are coming in. So people are living into other areas in tech. Some people have done data analysis and they say, oh, I want to do data analysis in the cloud. So the jobs are always there. Tech is like breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So people are breathing out and some people are breathing in. So that is the system. That is our system. So it is your technical training that ends after 4 months. Your career coaching starts from your first month. And like I said, you have 3 coaches. You have Abid, you have Fumbi. Their profiles will be shared on the group. You have Abid, you have Fumbi, you have Joshua, right? And they have sessions with you twice a month, right? And the reason why career coaching does not end is because of 1 to 8. Is because of 1 to 8. Industry requirements and experience, right? At times, some people, they sit down on YouTube and you see, when you talk to guys who are in the industry, they will tell you what is obtainable in the industry because they are in the industry. So you're not a lone ranger just looking around. So there's CV revamp, there's LinkedIn optimization, they prep you for the tech interview. Then in the process, you're also learning career networking opportunities. Career networking opportunities. And of course, the profile is being shared on the career networking, not so obvious, job opportunity, work reference, building a portfolio of projects. But let me share the profile with you. So then I will share the curriculum and we'll call it a day. So yeah. Call it a day after that. So let's have it. Okay, so you can also check our faculty. So this is our faculty for data analysis. So this is me right here. We have Sean. You might have access to some of the classes of Sean, but Sean is not your non-technical career coach for your batch. But the classes Sean has taken, you will have access to those replay of those classes. He's handling another batch entirely. But for your batch, you have access to Joshua. As you can see right here, you have access to Abid. You have live classes with Abid. You have live classes with Joshua. You have live classes with Fumbi, right? Fumbi is a senior data analyst with NHS Trust. So you have live classes with Fumbi, right? Malpigo, you have access to some of his classes, right? But you won't have live classes with him, but some of the classes he has taken, you have access to those classes. So in digital, we do what we say. We are people of integrity here. But so all these guys, all the classes, you have access to them. But for Fumbi, for Joshua, for Abid, live classes. You have live classes with them, live classes. And of course, there are also other tutors, right? So now let me also share the curriculum with you. So you just have an idea of what is in the curriculum. Then from there, I take your questions, right? I take your questions, right? So take your questions. So right here, so here's the curriculum, data analysis, Excel, you trash Excel out, and it's project-based. Power BI, you trash Power BI out. SQL, you go in depth into SQL, then you build your project, then you do Python for data analysis, right? Don't get me wrong, Python for data analysis. Python for data analysis, right? Then, of course, there's a career blueprint. So let me also reemphasize this again, that career coaching never ends. Career coaching never ends. So that 2 times in a week, 2 times in a month training just goes on and on and on and on until you get your job. So Digital is a community, Digital is a family. So we keep you there, we keep grooming you until you transition. So after your 4 months, we don't throw you away and say, oh yeah, bye for now. So you remain in the community and you keep getting support, you keep getting training, you keep getting support with your CV, with your interviews, until you transition. Like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a community to transition to tech. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a community to transition to tech, right? So I won't wonder, oh, this thing, how much is it? It is ridiculously cheap because this is a promo price. Now, training starts next week, Saturday, July 27th, right? And I've given you the time already, Saturday and Sunday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. GMT. But it's for people in the UK, in Ireland, in Germany, and in UAE, right? Now, training starts next week, Saturday, July 27th. Registration closes next week, Friday, July 26th. Now, this training is ridiculously cheap, and it's because it's a promo. Don't get it wrong. It is not cheap because the quality of the training is cheap. It's just because we're on a great promo. So you are paying just 250 pounds for this training, just 250 pounds. And payment is via Stripe link. The Stripe link has been shared on the group. You're paying just 250 pounds, one-time payment. For those who want to do two-time payments, you are doing 160 GBP and 160 GPP. Now, for people who are in Germany, Ireland, and UAE, don't worry about that. When you pay with Stripe, it will convert it to your local currency. So you will see how much it is in your own currency. But we are using British pounds as the standard. So one-time payment is 250 pounds. Two-time payment is 160 GBP now, then 160 GBP August ending. So let me have your questions. Just have a few minutes left, right? So yeah, somebody said I do see a few job posting asking for skills in R. How does R compare to Python SQL? You're right about R. So we take Python, but in the course of the career coaching session, you will also learn R. You will learn R, you will learn Tableau, right? So you learn all those things. So anything that you are seeing in the job advert that you don't know, you will learn it in the career coaching session. So, but the technical session, which is 4 months, is get the foundation and hit the ground running. So those career coaching sessions, if you realize that it is R is the reason why you're not getting your interviews, there are tutors in Egita that will teach you R. If you realize, oh, it's Tableau, there are tutors that will teach you the Tableau. Anything that is making you to fail interviews or is stopping you from being invited to interviews, the career coaching session will take care of that. So our training is not limited to what you have in the brochure. The brochure is just a foundation. In the career coaching session, anything that is an hindrance to your transition is tackled there. So what is the cost of the enrollment? I've answered that. It's ridiculously cheap right now because it's a promo. 250 pounds for one-time payment, 160 and 160 for two-time payments. Right. Okay, so someone is saying advice. So there is no advice for getting data analysis job with visa sponsorship. So let me just explain this to you because, like I said, I have hundreds of students that I've trained this year that Egital has trained. Egital is a very big organization, and you know, so but this year, I can tell you for the fact that not all jobs will give you visa sponsorship, but you will always get visa sponsorship jobs. That's just it. So if you apply for a job, some of them will give you visa sponsorship, some of them will not. Start the one that will give you visa sponsorship while you are trying to get the one that will not give you visa sponsorship. So it's as simple as that, right? I have students of ours who got visa sponsorship based on the job they got. So that's how it works, right? That's how it works. Well, there are no specific companies you can target. It's just by getting the skill and applying to the jobs and getting the job. Okay, I love it. Is there a certificate or CV gotten out? Of course. So you get the Egita certifications, and there are some free data analysis certifications you will get after the 4 months. Yeah, so there are some free globally recognized data analysis certifications you will also get in addition to the Egita certification. But like we say, the most important thing in data analysis is your skill and the project you have built. And that is what we are very, very, very particular about, your skill and the project you have built. Do you give job reference? Yes, we do. We give a work reference, right? And we've done that in the past for a couple of our students with good results. So we've done that. Yeah, in the UK context, I've answered your question. Yes, in the UK context, there are organizations that give visa sponsorship. Not all companies do, but some companies do. And all you just have to do is just to keep applying and you get the one that does, right? What about those in Nigeria? Can they join the coaching? Of course they can. They can. Ben, yes, there's certificate after the training. There's digital certificate. There are also some free globally accepted certifications, right, that you will get. That you get. We do 2 times instrumental payment, 160 British pounds and another 160 British pounds. They can be in the career coaching sessions. You will learn all these stable things there in the career coaching session. But for your first 4 months, you are learning the most important things. The most important things are your Excel, your Power BI, your SQL, and your Python. But in the career coaching session, like I said, the career coaching session does not end until you get a job, right? Until you get a job. It doesn't end until you get a job. So Nurat is asking how much in Naira. In Naira, it's 500,000 Naira at the current rate. So it's 500,000 Naira in Naira, right? 500,000. Yeah, Precious is right. NHS jobs and many of our data analysis coaches have actually worked at NHS. So you're right about that. So Frank said, you guys have access to the tech jobs. So here's the thing. It's not about whether we have access. The jobs are there. Like I said, we have a student of ours in the UK who has gotten a visa sponsorship job to Germany. He's in the UK, but he has gotten a job in Germany and it's a visa sponsorship job. So we are not giving the jobs. The jobs are already there. The students just need to acquire the skill and understand how to navigate the job market. So that is why our training is technical and career coaching. You get the skill, then there is a navigation. There are many people who have the skill, but they are still jobless. Because navigating the job market is another thing on its own. Is another program on its own, right? So you can always access jobs in Germany or Ireland or UAE. And if you're in UAE, you can access job in Europe. This is remote work. You are not limited, right? So can people in South Africa join? Of course you can. People in South Africa can join. People in Nigeria can join, right? So some of the other certifications, there's the Microsoft data analysis certification. There's the IBM data analysis certification. There's the Google data analysis certification, right? So those are some of the ones you will get. Yeah. I've said it, the cost in Nigeria is 500,000 Naira for this program, right? Deadline for payment is next week, Friday. Next week, Friday, 26th of July. That's the deadline for the payment. Oh, don't worry. All our classes are recorded, including this one. All our classes are recorded, including this one. So the replay will be made available. Don't worry about it. The replay will be made available. Okay, so Gideon, I know two of our tutors who have got, I won't mention their names anyway, but they are in your class. They'll be taking this class. 2 of them, they've gotten the global talent visa, so they can help you with the process, right? One of them, he got the approval last month, and he had been working on that global talent visa, right? So you can use the data analysis training to apply for it. But beyond that, because our tutors are very experienced people, right? They can walk you through this process. And I'm talking to Gideon. They can walk you through the process, because you might just apply and you see there is nothing that beats experience. So we have 2 of our guys who have done this global talent visa and they've gotten it. So they will be the best resource personnel that can advise you on how to go about it. So do we give work reference? We give work reference. We have our UK incorporated company that does that for you, right? That's what, so Gideon, you can also reach out to me, yeah, via WhatsApp. For those who want to reach out, WhatsApp, just WhatsApp me on this number. That's it. Right. So okay, Ben is saying if you're not satisfied, you're not qualified. That's not true. In data analysis, that's not true. I am a very, very balanced person. So in the field of data analysis, the most important thing is your skill set. How you can use the tools, right? Then the project you have executed using the tools. That's number 2. Then number 3, we now talk of certifications. We talk of work reference and all those stuff. Now for the certification, digital certification qualifies you. But in addition to digital certifications, there are some certifications you will get through our guidance, through our coaching. There is the IBM data analysis certification, is global. There is Microsoft, is global. There is the IBM, there is Microsoft, there is Google. There's a Google data analysis certification. So those ones are global, right? And you can also get the AWS. AWS too has a data analysis certifications too. So by the time you add all this, you are good. The recorded video will be shared. Don't worry about that. We'll share the replay of this session on the WhatsApp group. Frank, don't worry. The payment method has been shared on the group already. I believe it has been shared already. Stripe is a global payment processor. It works with all banks. So you can pay from anywhere, whether you're in Germany, whether you're in UAE, whether you're in South Africa, anywhere you can pay. But for those who are in Nigeria, you can pay through a Nigerian bank account for those who want to pay in Naira, right? So Benga is saying, when we pay £160 by February 26th, when again can we balance up? By August 30. The next due date will be August 30. August 30. You get the IBM certification during the course of the training now. Right? Finish the training first. So people listen. The skill is the most important thing. Don't even get a certification without getting the skill first. Get the skill first, then get the certification. Certification, you will get enough. I just mentioned IBM, Microsoft, Google, but there are many more. But I don't want you to be all about certification. You will get enough certifications because in digital, learning never ends. Learning never ends in digital. That is our motto. Learning never ends. Right? So certification, forget certification. You get enough certifications. Right? So are there other questions? I still have 3 minutes. For those who want to pay into the Naira account, you can just chat me up, but I can, this is the Naira account for those who want to pay, who prefer to pay in Naira. So this is the Naira account. So yeah, let me have your more questions. So I have 2 more minutes to go. And the deadline is next week, Friday. This is a promo trading. This is a ridiculous amount, ridiculously cheap. You all know how much training is. The least training you get in the UK is £2,000. But we are just doing this thing for promo, right? And many of our tutors in the UK have always advised me against that you guys won't take it serious. But I just believe that living in the UK, there are just a lot of bills to pay, right? And that's why we are bringing this promo training. This is not our normal price. You have a lot of bills to pay already. So training shouldn't still be very expensive. There are trainings of £2,000, £1,500, £3,000 on data analysis. There are even some as expensive as £6,000. And they are not teaching anything different. So this is a promo price, and it's for those who can take advantage of it by next week, Friday. So that's it. I have 1 more minute. Does anybody have any question? So the replay will be shared on the group. It's been a wonderful session tonight, and I enjoyed myself with you all tonight. So the replay will be shared on the group. I have 1 more minute. Does anybody have any question? Ask me all the questions now. Right, ask me all the questions now before I go. Okay. Gone. Bye for now. So see you in the class. I leave you for one word. Do we pay for the exams? The exams are free exams. These certification exams we'll be introducing to you are free exams. So we don't want you to pay for exams again. They are free exams. So take note of that. So do have a wonderful time. See you in class. Remember this. Analysis, too much of analysis will lead to paralysis. Too much of analysis will lead to paralysis. So come for data analysis. Don't overanalyze data analysis. Right? So see you all in class. Bye for now. Bye.